Hey, what's up, everybody? Happy Sunday morning. It's been kind of a while since my last vlog. A lot's happened since my last vlog. Went back to the US for a couple months. I'm now back here in India. I've been here for a little bit over a month. And through it all, I think the recurring theme that's been happening over the past few months has really been about continued adversity. Whether it's family, work, working with people here in the company, co-founders, difficulties in making progress, problems getting the culture right here, it's all just been really, really, really difficult. Now, I actually thought things would get a lot easier this year, but fortunately, not unfortunately, fortunately, things are still as tough as ever. And on top of the typical challenges, I would say in the last couple of weeks, I've been presented a little bit of an extra challenge, which is what I wanted to talk about today. So, first of all, 2 weeks ago, I was playing soccer with other employees here at the company, and I tore my Achilles tendon. Now, I've actually fully torn my right Achilles through a kickboxing accident like 4 to 5 years ago. But this time it's my left Achilles. According to the doctor, it's like a 70% tear, and some of the tendon came off the bone. But because I believe the doctor was pretty much dead set on surgery. Unfortunately, I didn't learn about having to put my foot into equinus position or ballerina position to kind of bring the tendons together to give me a shot at non-operative treatment. So I was literally walking on my foot and separating the tendon for the first 3 days. Now, I've heard that going into equinus position is critical in the first 48 hours if you want to try and go for non-operative. So I might be hosed on that. But at least after a week, so last week, I finally did at least get a cast on the foot in equinus position. Now, that first week after the accident was rough. So I tore the Achilles. I then later found out that I kind of screwed my recovery. I had food poisoning. And as I'm writhing in pain in my hotel room, the headache, feeling like I need to throw up all the time, I was just thinking, man, what am I doing here? Is this really worth it? What am I doing not only to myself, but to my family? Because to top it all off, the very next day, I was speaking to my family. And my oldest son, who's 13, Jackson. So his school is shutting down this year. So he needs to find a new school. He's going to a public school right now, but we applied to a few other schools, including a private school called Khan Lab School, which is as in Khan Academy, Sol Khan. And, this could quite possibly the best school literally in the world. And he actually got in. He was accepted. Now, when I took this job at Leela, I took a pretty massive compensation cut. So a really big cut compared to what I used to make. And so we also filed for financial aid for Khan, which we wound up qualifying for, but then the school ran out of financial aid funds. I got to tell you guys, it was heart-wrenching for me when I spoke to my son and told him that yes, he was accepted, but KLS ran out of financial aid funds, so we couldn't really afford to send him there. The look in his eyes when I told him was really a killer for me. I mean, it just really feels bad when you feel like a failure as a parent. Now, if I didn't do this startup, we could easily afford it. And I did offer him the option of spending some of his college funds to go there, but he decided not to go. Anyway, last few weeks were rough, but the lesson in all of this and what I wanted to really convey was something my wife mentioned to me, which I wanted to share. And Jackson, Asher, Kayla, I hope you remember this lesson as well. So your mom told me that we need to stop focusing on what we can't do or can't have and really just focus on what we can do. So we'll apply to other schools. Or in the worst case, Jackson will homeschool you. The public school system sucks anyway. And thankfully, I happen to be a great teacher. Anyway, I know for my leg, eventually I'll get better. Maybe I need to get surgery when I get back to the US. Maybe my recovery will be longer, but at least I appreciate my health more. And the pain I'm feeling every day is actually a great reminder that there are a lot of people in the world going through a lot. The doctor actually kept trying to push painkillers on me. Screw that. I'm not, I don't need painkillers. Pain lets me know I'm alive. But I'll be honest with you, there were some moments where it's like, maybe I should have gotten those painkillers. But one thing I do want to relate to you is something that happened to me on the way to the hospital to get my cast on. So we were driving to the hospital, and I remember we were stopping at a traffic light. And as we stopped, I saw this guy at the intersection, and he was begging for money. He had no shirt on, he had no shoes on. He was missing an arm. He literally only had one arm. And it really looked like he was so skinny, he hadn't eaten in a very long time. And I just remember thinking to myself, wow, I've got it good. I have it really good. I'm blessed. So, kids, remember, adversity is a gift, pain is a lesson. And kids, like your mama said, don't focus on what you can't do. Focus on what you can do. Find new solutions. Figure out another way. When life stops you from one path, find another. There will be another way. When one door closes, another door will open.